In this video, we will be exploring the paradoxical nature of mysticism, the ultimate meta-discipline towards the ultimate self-knowledge. In my last video on Hermetic Kabbalah, we were discussing the meta-nature of mysticism. I proposed the definition of mysticism to be any experience, discipline, or method towards an experience of going outside of yourself to uncover yourself. The paradox is intentional in this definition, as paradox is inherent in all forms of mysticism. Mysticism is the path of self-knowledge, but not the self that you know. In this video, we're going to discuss how the loftiest of mysteries is both the question and result of asking. I'll leave the link to my earlier video in the description. As I had established there, everything is God. Yes, we are starting right with some heretical goodness. Everything is God, or the source, the truth, everything, Brahman, the all, the one, the literal that. You are that. Literally tathata in Buddhism, meaning suchness. So this begs two questions. First of all, is it even possible to discuss God if God is all there is? And secondly, is there really any purpose to discussing God if God is all there is? For the first question, we have to admit ineffability. Every mystic in all mystical literature talks about ineffability. It's kind of like they say, hey, so I really can't describe this ineffable, indescribable experience / truth, but I'm gonna do my best. And they really do their best because every mystic can't stop freaking talking about their mystical experience. You know, the ultimate ground of being. So we have to admit that it can't really be spoken of. But what we can do is we can create the conditions that promote an experience of that ineffable thing. And we do so through thought, word, and deed in various practices, meditations, mantras, spiritual practices. And I actually made a video on the keys to enlightenment that talks about how different keys of enlightenment work and how they kind of set up conditions for that awareness. Now, the second question, what's the purpose of talking about God if God is all there is, if Source is all there is? Well, in talking about this ultimate truth, it's not to prove anything or persuade anyone, it's to reveal misinterpretation. Well, there's two things. First, it's to celebrate because, I mean, what else is there to talk about besides pure being? You know, it's freaking ecstatic. But two, it allows us to begin to interrogate our misinterpretations of reality. Now, stick with me here. The misinterpretations of reality are very real. They're not real, but they're real to us. And a lot of traditions talk about this. Maya, the world of illusion, the world of form. But these misinterpretations are not bad. See, it is these very misinterpretations that allow me the glory of the anxiety of being a one-man band business owner. And it allows me the thrill of my neurodivergent nature obsessing over a new hobby every 6 months. The misinterpretations and errors actually carve out the block of supreme being. It carves out the statue of our life and our personality, and that is the agency of karma. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit, but first I want to propose something that's going to be really fun. So this is a conclusion that I've come to, and I'm sure other people and mystical misfits and whatnot have come to it, but I just want you to chew on this for a bit. I want you to consider that maybe the same curiosity that's bringing you to explore the truth, spirituality, mysticism, all of that, might be the same curiosity that provoked you in the first place to incarnate as a separate being, separate from that to which you want to merge with or understand. Oh yes, we are sinking into the paradox already. The big mysteries. What is the meaning of life? What are we? What is the universe? These questions are the effect of an estimated 13.7 billion years of cosmic development leading to the human experience, leading to this moment right now with you watching this video. But I would bet that the estimated 13.7 billion years of cosmic development into the human experience and into this very moment with you watching this video is also the answer to those questions. It is the same mystery that drives us to grow beyond the human experience into higher realms. And it's that same mystery that also, on the other side of the two-way street, drives us into the flesh. So I'm going to build on this, and we're gonna, like my recent videos, get more complicated and more heretical as we go, so tighten your seatbelt, this is gonna be a fun ride. What do we know about God, Brahman, the source? We know that he, she, they are a creator, right? If not creation itself. And we know that you and I and all humans are creators. And we know, if we listen to a lot of the mystical literature, that we are a reflection of this source, of this God, a microcosm of the macrocosm. We are the below to the above. And I think that you will find, if you really investigate, that everything in your life you created. Now, this is where there's a lot of risk. You see, this goes into the whole reason why a lot of mysticism and esoteric wisdom was esoteric. It wasn't for the masses. It wasn't for everyone. Because what I just said can be very misconstrued. And to be honest, I wouldn't tell just anyone. Well, I guess I would, because I am making a public video online, so that's kind of the whole world. There's a level of maturity to approach a claim that I just made. No one is necessarily responsible in the normal colloquial use of that word for everything that happens to them. But what I would say, to echo Sadhguru, is that everyone has the ability to respond to everything. And in so doing, with the infinite ability of infinite potential to respond in whatever way that you want to everything that is thrown at you in life, that is how you create everything in your world. Now, a lot of people think the way that they create their worlds is manifestation, is law of attraction, and all of that has a truth to it, but I want to dismantle that a little bit and kind of rebuild it and refine it. Creating your reality, which is what we're all doing, is not a matter of this magical thing where you think of something and the energy reaches out into the universe and pulls it towards you, or some abstract geometric figures are manifested in a higher plane and then eventually emanate into physical reality, into quarks and whatnot. It's not this magical crazy thing. It's literally interpretation. That's what it is. Interpretation is a creative act. We literally create our experiences through this and the spinal cord and our history and whatever. It's actually very logical, and it's very much echoed in a lot of things in the Yoga Sutras. We get stimulated by an experience or sensation, and then we put layers of meaning around it, and that's how it becomes a thing. So every single thing in your life, if it is a thing, it is something that you hold in your mind. It's a memory, a projection in the future, a story, a thought form. I'm going to use the word segment because it's a fun word. I like geometry, I don't know. But everything you've created. And the way this works is you segment something out of the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality we might think of as chaos, or the void, or Brahman, or God, or everything happening everywhere all at once. This quantum foam of possibility, the velvet void. There's a void in every tradition. The sunyata. And out of this chaos, out of this possibility, you segment a piece of it through meaning, through interpretation. And that piece of it becomes an abstract form in your memory, in your thoughts, in your patterns, and who knows what it is. Maybe it's built of a beautiful choreography of neurons firing and wiring in different ways, but it becomes a thing in your experience. A thing that is separated from everything else, that is held together literally by your patterns of thought, by your focus, by your attention. And Maya, the world of form and illusion, is the entire landscape of these segments, which come out of chaos, out of the void. So all of these like line segments, if you could imagine this beautiful city that you literally draw, this whole landscape you draw in your mind, but out of meaning, you delineate that on the paper, on the flat paper of consciousness. You literally draw the map of your reality onto a blank page, and the blank page itself is pure awareness, pure consciousness. This is nothing new. This is just what it is, okay? And I'm going to tie this soon to how your life is the answer to the mystical quest and the mystical question and paradox. Now remember what I said, this takes a level of maturity to sink into. So all of your emotional reactions, all of the highs and lows of life, even trauma, are segments that you've segmented out of infinite being, infinite reality, and made a thing, for better or for worse. And I want you to know, what's really important here is that from a mystical lens, none of these segments are good and bad. They just are. They are the creative process. See where I'm going here? Your past, your present, and your future are all in your mind and exist through creation, which is equal to interpretation. And that creates the sense of self, and that carves out your karma from the block of pure awareness and consciousness. Your interpretation of this infinite, of this void, of God, of Brahman, your interpretation of God is your life. Your life is literally built up from all of the nodes of meaning that you have made over time that are connecting with each other and building a whole map, a whole landscape of reality. But it's all, that map, that landscape is all drawn on the paper of consciousness, of awareness. It's like if you're a sculptor and you had this block, but let's say the block was infinite. You had this infinite block of stone or whatever sculptors use, and you begin to carve into it to create something. The carving is the karma, because karma is action, right? And its karma also has to do with preference. And the carving results in the statuesque life that you are. Your statuesque, beautiful, glorified personality, your desires, your fears, the horror and glory of the human experience. This is the movie that is projected onto this blank screen of consciousness, which is God, pure being. Brahman, God, the block of stone, that's the attribute list. The first carve is the first motion, the primum mobile, but also the moment that we wake up every morning. It is also Hokmah and the inciting incident of all good stories and all good myths, the call to adventure. And that call to adventure is life. Just as God created the world through folding this infinite being, through separating things into form, you create your world and your life through divine design. In life, we take pure possibility and we separate it into probability. And then we separate it further into pleasure and problems, which is karma. And this carving of the stone of consciousness into the statue of our life is the process of incarnation, karma, and hopefully a grand old time. The karma and the problems or the difficulties or the highs and lows that come with this descent into the experience of matter, that is the story. And you know, if you've gone into any sort of self-development, healing, therapy, clinical, anything, that type of change work, development, people love the story. And it's oftentimes the story that holds people back. I know I got mad stories about who I am and why I am and all this BS, all these belief systems and these stories. You know, we all got a good origin story. It's exciting. It's like a movie. You gotta have a good origin story. You gotta have good motivation. You gotta have a challenge so that you can get over, so that the movie's good, right? That's incarnation. And stories do good things for us as well as hold us back. But the thing is, they're stories. When we are in the story, when we justify something or we go into the whys and the this and the that, a lot of times we're out of our awareness. And a lot of times the story takes the form of, I am this because of this, or I do this because I am this. And notice how different that is than pure I am that I am, or I will be what I will be. Remember God's mic drop in Exodus? That's where we're going. Ehyeh asher ehyeh, I will be what I will be. I will be what? The kicker is the stories that you tell yourself, the karma that you accumulate, the ups and downs and the horrors and glories of life, all of that is being what you said you would be some time ago. You've probably heard this before, but the thing that we are all looking for is ourselves. The thing we're truly seeking is the thing doing the seeking. And in that deep search, it has brought us so far into possibility that it even brought us to this very moment, sharing this experience on what may be one of the last virtual social media long-form platforms, where I desperately asked you to subscribe so I can reinforce the karma and the meaning making and the stories that I tell myself about whatever this incarnation is about. But seriously, our search for self-knowledge has brought us through countless dimensions and forms and experiences and realities so far that it brought us to this very moment. This moment, it is the answer and it is perfect. Thank you so much for going on this mini journey with me. If this was fun for you, please share with a friend, family member, and definitely that eccentric coworker that you don't talk to yet, because this video might get you talking. Please smash that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next wormhole. Much love.